Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's Pat Walsh here from Sky Business Centres and come here. We kick off because it's 2 o'clock. I can see there's a lot of you online. So firstly, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. And also, I'd like to thank our team at Sky Business Centres and come here for helping me put together this presentation. I hope you find it useful. I promised you I'm going to go through about my frog. I'll explain the significance of my frog and eating the frog. But I think it'd be remiss for me not to start by genuinely expressing sincere condolences to all the over 300 unfortunate deaths we've had over the last 6 weeks or so due to the COVID-19 crisis. And my hearts go out to any of you who have been affected or are affected through this dreadful crisis, and I do hope we come through it soon. Now, the webinar I have split into 10 tips. I'm going to tell you a little stories and introduction first. And the first 5 tips will be dealing with situation now. So situation in how we can cope as individuals and business people during this COVID-19 crisis. The following 6 to 10 tips will be very much about eat the frog and about delegating and organizing your time. It's going to be a tight 30 minutes. I'm going to move along fast. Please, by all means, if you have any questions, contact me afterwards. Unfortunately, we won't have time during this 30 minutes or so to reply to your chat questions, but I promise we will get back to you. One of my team or myself will get back to you. So I suppose as a little preamble, many years ago in a far distant galaxy, at least 20 years ago, things were quite bad in Ireland, and I moved home to run a business. It was a very small house, 2-bedroom house in Rahigi, and really nice neighbours. And I had a eureka moment, which I remember to this day, and it's affected me since. I was walking through St. Anne's Park and the mobile phone rang. You know, the phone was, you can imagine, about 5 or 6 times the size of that. And it was an order from a customer. Customer phoned me to kindly give an order. I think it was for a printer. And the normal procedure would have been is I would have hopped into the car, driven to the supplier, bought the printer, driven to the customer, delivered, set up the printer, collected the money, drove home, and so on. But I suppose a sense of solitude in the park, I had a eureka moment, and I phoned back the supplier and asked them for the phone number of the driver. And I got talking to the driver, and I asked the driver, would he mind A, delivering it to my customer, B, collecting payment from them, and C, dropping the check, because we have very little electronic transfer back in those days, to my bank. And this was a eureka moment because basically I was saving at least a half a day in doing this. Might sound insignificant now, but back then that was pretty much the norm. And I decided, out of a lot of contemplation, to look at this and look at ways how I could work from home without moving, generate more income, or rinse and repeat that process and delegate as much as possible. I outsourced a bookkeeper for doing the invoicing, VAT, and so on, returns. I set up 4 customer service agents to go out and offer to install the equipment in the customer's locations and do support. And then I follow up and offer support contracts. And again, was rinse and repeat. Within an 18-month period, we had a business that was turning over £500,000 at that stage. So it's a significant business. It was a business whereby I'm proud to say that the business was working for me, and I was not working for the business, which is obviously ideal, and it freed me up to do a lot of other things in my life and travel and work in India and Africa and the States and so on. And I then sold that business, did very well out of it, exited, and unfortunately then invested all the takings in property. And that's another story we leave for another day, a disaster we leave for another day. But here we are. So I focused a lot on that over the last 20 years. have had the pleasure of, I suppose, talking to Tim Ferris, the 4-hour working week, and people like Fabio Rosati from Elangs, and engaging with these leaders in remote working and working from home and getting best results. So I'm going to run through 10 tips now, which I hope will be a benefit to you. But I would say, just before I move on, 20 years later, with the availability of broadband, of outsourced services, of support services, of more money, of better government support, there's absolutely no excuse whatsoever for me or you to fulfill your dream, if it's to run a business or to operate efficiently at home. The only thing that's blocking you being successful in working from home and achieving your goals is you. And that's what I'd like to focus the next 10 tips on. So again, the first 5 are very much focused on COVID-19, where we are now, and the last 5 are general tips for the business. I would say I've talked long and hard about these 10 tips. I'm presenting nothing that I don't do myself or have not done myself, and has worked for me over a long period of time running businesses, some fairly successful. So everything I'm saying here, I earnestly mean that I do myself and I try myself. Okay, so moving on. Just as an introduction, you probably know that 2 main businesses we have are Sky Business Centres, which is a workplace business centres in Dublin. We offer serviced offices and virtual offices and business assistants in 4 locations in Dublin, in Clontarf, Blanchardstown, and also in Clonshock near Santry near Dublin Airport. So we've touched 2 locations in Blanchardstown. So I'll give our details at the end, but obviously we'd love to talk to you. Also, we have Camir, and Camir is still in startup mode. We have a brilliant team of 8 who developed Camir, and Camir is a communication service for schools and for communities and neighbourhood watch, and more on that a little bit later on. So that's what I do with my day job. So moving on. First point, first tip, Pat's first tip is simply grow up. I'm sorry, that's not a pleasant message. So grow up in every respect, grow up holistically, and grow up as a person and take responsibility. Really, really important where we are now. Take stock of where we are now. So my first tip is simply take stock of where you are, grow up. And my recommendations for that are to acknowledge the following horrible statement. That's a terrible statement. And it's by Lou Holtz, who has a number of famous quotes to his name. That's a terrible quote. So let's get it out of the way. Don't tell your problems to people. 80% of them don't care, and the other 20% are glad you have them. So it's a horrible, cold, sterile statement. I certainly do not believe in the first sentence, don't tell your problems to people. You certainly should tell your problems to people for your own mental health, and you certainly should. But I suppose the point of this is that really, in general, people don't care about your problems, and you're whinging and moaning. It has little effect. It really affects us badly, and has very little impact on them. People get on with things and pay really little attention to us as individuals. Terrible statement, but it is quite liberating if you think it through. So that's Lou's quote. Now, really important right now during this crisis is a few steps I'd walk through, which really works for me, is firstly, make a list of what is outside your control. Now, clearly, if you're not on the front line, you're not a healthcare worker, you cannot make an impact in that area. You may be able to help in your local area, maybe delivering and checking in on vulnerable people. But things you cannot control, if you're outside politics, bar voting, you might have little impact on that. So really good idea, particularly at this time, is get a large piece of paper and make a list of things you cannot control, things that you're worrying about in your head, itemize them, and the ones that you cannot control, list on a separate sheet. Secondly, make a list of what you can control and influence, really, really important. So what can you control? Well, you can phone people, you can propose new business, you can phone someone to make them feel better. There's loads you can do. List 2 will always be much longer than list 1. It's a good exercise to do. What power have you got at your fingertips working at home without leaving your house? What can you do? The list is bigger than ever with the internet. The list is endless. So what can you do? What can you influence? Step 3 is throw list 1 in the bin because you can do nothing about it. And I mean that both metaphorically and as a thought process. Don't let people or worries have free rent inside your head. Make a list and acknowledge it's outside of your control and there's no point worrying about it. So focus on list 2. Really important. Declan Coyle, I've known Declan for over 20 years. I've been mentioning Declan a few times during this presentation. And you can find Declan on Facebook and his website, greenplatform.ie. Declan states regularly, and has done to me, imprinted my brain, is where energy goes, energy flows. And you'll see that eat the frog as we move through the slides. So really important, your attention, where attention goes, energy flows. So really important you focus on list 2, which is what you can control, what you can influence, and that's where your attention should be on a daily basis. That's what's going to make you feel better, more empowered, and more in control. So number 5 is take time out every day to be grateful for what you have and where you are. We're living in a developed Western society. We have no excuse to be whinging about where we are. Most of us have food on the table and a roof over our head, and we have a lot to be grateful of, and we need to acknowledge that. And I don't mean that in any lecturing sense. I'm the egregious and most ambitious compared to other people, compared to anyone else, but it's really important to take a few moments every day just to acknowledge what we have, where we are, and how fortunate we are. Step 6, take responsibility. Really important as part of growing up. If it's got to be, it's up to me. If something's going to happen in your life, in your business, in your relationships, it's up to you to do it and take command of it. It's not going to happen by itself. Number 7 is be aware of your borders. In my role as chairman of the Student Enterprise Awards in Dublin City, I regularly meet and get to listen and talk to students, secondary school students mainly, and my role in the GAA. I always use the term regarding mental health that the world is flat, it's not round. I know it sounds a bit weird. I'm not talking pre-Christopher Columbus here, but in mental health terms, we must know our boundaries. There are cliffs that we must be aware of that we can fall off. We don't have the luxury of a round world in our mind and our discursive activities that our mind progresses with. Really important, it's a great term. Where mental health is concerned, the world is actually flat, not round, and we must acknowledge there are borders there in our lives that we must be cognizant of. 8, think positive. So easy, eat healthy, work hard, exercise, stay strong, rest, reading, worry less. Do these every day, you're on to a winner. Okay. Now the last one is a big one, and I've worked with Declan on this. Declan Coyle briefly on this 20 years ago, stuck with me ever since, and it's MBRs. And we use this in sports, we use this in business, we use it in life. The MBRs are negative belittling remarks. I will come on to this a bit further in more detail. Now, we have 2 types of NBRs, negative belittling remarks. We have internal negative belittling remarks, and we have external negative belittling remarks. I think we all know what they are. They're to ourselves and they're to others, and they're comments. We have to stamp them out. We have to reduce them. Right now, during this crisis, we have to step up to the plate, and we have to be positive and spread the word and really be conscious of our internal and external NBRs, negative belittling remarks. Okay, so I love this Winston Churchill quote, and this isn't one that I was looking for, but I shoot it out. The actual quotation is that Winston said in 1946 was, he was asked, what did you worry about most during the war? And his answer was, things that never happened. Okay, so monitor your worries, think through them. I'd like to spend a moment sidetracking a little bit and telling you what we're doing in Khmer about COVID-19 and mental health. And you can avail of this after this webinar. You can sign up, it's free. So I'm urging you, please, please, please stop sharing posts on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Snapchat that you do not 100% know are verified is causing endless harm. So misinformation is a huge problem at the moment. Rumors by this doctor and that doctor that are being shared out, and they are hurting the most vulnerable people, because in a lot of cases, the most vulnerable people are heavy social media users. Fine to share something encouraging and positive and uplifting, but be careful about sharing remedies or solutions which turn out not to be valid a few days later. As we know, WhatsApp has now limited the sharing, and quite rightly. And it's a major issue. You know, we're working with the HSC and Department of Health in Northern Ireland, and also Mental Health Ireland, which I'll come on to a second, with CMIR. And the HSC have a media monitoring, it's a very big department, and they're monitoring social media and they're monitoring what's happening. And what Colm Henry, the HSC Chief Clinical Officer, on the back of the media monitoring service within the HSC said last week, and it's really important, is that the majority of COVID-19, there's an I missing there, apologies, 19 stories being shared on social media are not true. The majority of social media stories about COVID-19 are not true. Okay, so really, really be careful. You know, quickly and briefly, what we've done in CMIR 2 weeks ago is we've launched a nationwide service, an all-island service, in fact. And we're publishing verified information from the HSC, Department of Health Northern Ireland, and we've also partnered with Mental Health Ireland. And we're publishing snippets every day, which are verified snippets of facts. It's not education, it's simply reinforcing best practice and verified practice. It's a free service. You're welcome to sign up and avail of the service. Again, Mental Health Ireland, HSC, Department of Health Northern Ireland. So simply you can just install the CMIR app. I'll just bring that up. And the type of messages that we're distributing, for example, the reminders and reinforcements of best practice, and also mental health tips, everything from awareness to sleep and so on. So every day we publish an alert, and please say it's now used in every county in the country by schools and community groups, and you are welcome to use the service. Okay, moving on. That's just where it is on the CMIR app. You simply just subscribe to the COVID-19 group on the CMIR app, subscribe to it, and you will receive those alerts. It's free of charge. Okay, please inform others to do this. So number 2, list of quotations. So we're going to move on quite fast now. Oh, we'll jump ahead there. So my second recommendation, just a short one, we're going to move along fast now, is make a list for you, a list for me, a list for you. A list of quotations and supportive words that inspire you. You know, personally, I use Evernote. I don't recommend using pen and paper because pen and paper tends to get lost. So it is best done electronically. So you can either access it on your phone or you can access it on your laptop or wherever your tablet, wherever you are. Personally, I use Evernote. You can check Evernote out, but you can use Google Docs or maybe Notes on your Apple or Google device. So really important. Quotations that are meaningful to you, compile a list of them, update them when you hear something you like, save a web link, type in a few words, read through that list every week. It's so important, okay? The second step, and my third recommendation, is a list about you. So make a separate list of your successes and milestones achieved. Now, for example, I do one every year. In January, I do a recap. So I might write about 20 sentences on what happened in 2019. I do some of the bad things and some of mostly good things, thankfully. So what milestones and successes that I have achieved and that I'm happy with, okay, and I can learn from. So make that list. Again, I use Evernote just in a separate list, and read that list every week. Now, why do we do that? And it's back to our negative belittling remarks. So what we're told by mental health practitioners is that in the brain, 50,000 thoughts and conversations go through our brain every single day. Unfortunately, what they also tell us is that 80% of those talks are negative. So that is that 40,000 talks go through our head every day, which are pretty negative talks. And it's not surprising, particularly during the current crisis, listening to the news, conversion on social media and so on. So it's really, really important to have a better diet of information that's going through you. So reinforce good words that other people have said and good things about you to act as a platform to reinforce yourself, especially during this period. So again, the negative belittling remarks, the 50,000 talks, 40,000 are negative. You must confront that head on, and that's how you can do it. A list of your successes and a list of words that you like and inspire you. Okay, so next one is moving up to physical. Now, about 10 years ago, a good friend, Brogy Swingy, locked me up in a hotel for 3 days and brought me through the next tips. I've done it ever since. And I have a few back problems myself, so I have excuses not to do this, but I do persist as best I can. So physical exercise is really, really important. We're locked away at home at the moment. We can't go to our gym. We can't swim. Unfortunately, there's lots of things we can't do. So I'll give you 2 things you can do, and you can take these with you for the rest of your life, which is pretty wonderful. Think of them as a little toolkit. So the first one is the sun salutation. Some of you may know it already. During that weekend, I think it was in Mead about 10 years ago, we did this at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I think during the day, and as far as I remember, at night as well. So we did it several times a day. I'm not suggesting you do that, but please try and learn these steps. There's 12 steps. I can share this out, or you can Google it and find it. You then have it for life. And the benefits of this are absolutely massive, from flexibility, from strength, from feeling good, from getting a kind of a mini exercise. So sun salutation is one of my favorites. If you've done the park run, you see some nutter in the middle of the grass afterwards doing this, it's me. So the weirdo doing the sun salutation in the middle of St. Anne's Park after the park run every Saturday, that's me. You can often say hello to me. So the benefits are just massive, and it can be done anywhere. It can be done in a hotel room, it can be done in quite a tight space. And the other brilliant thing about sun salutation is you can modify it to yourself. So if you're maybe elderly or you have some physical problems, you can modify this to suit you. So in fact, with some elderly people, we've actually done a sun salutation standing up. So we can do some of the movements like the mounting the hands up and so on, and substitute what we can do. So don't do anything, of course, that hurts you. If you have bad back, obviously be very careful. However, if you are an athlete, you're training for football or GAA or hurling, you should do a serious sun salutation for your flexibility. And when you're doing the plank, you should, in addition, add on maybe 20 press-ups, okay? So vary it, but they are the 12 core steps, and they're global, they're known worldwide, with certain variations, but sun salutation is just synonymous, and I really recommend you learn it. Okay, the next one, my last of the COVID-19 attack, if you like, from my tips that I do, is the pause. Now, the pause is really important and really useful. I recommend you try to do it 2 times a day. I know it's difficult if there's kids at home, but you can do this in the loo. Sometimes I do. People think my bladder is bad. It's not. It's because I'm going off to do this. It's only 2 minutes a day. It's like a mini meditation. There's no mantra involved. It's limited self-awareness. So it can be learned and done very, very quickly. So it's been a fantastic benefit to me. And it simply is just 2 minutes. Sit down, check your posture, your back is up, right? Your shoulders up, your hands on your knees, your feet firmly on the ground. Connect with your senses. So wiggle your toes, nobble your knees, shake your belly, shake your torso, wiggle your shoulders, shake your head. Connect with your senses, and then kinetically taste, look, listen, very important, listen, and then close your eyes and just listen, just monitor your breathing just for about 20, 30 seconds. Listen to your breathing, okay? It's a huge benefit. It just takes a break, gives the mind a rest, gives you a rest during the day. Don't worry if you're afraid you'll forget something important. You won't, okay? Or write it down before you do this, okay? So don't worry, it won't in any way interfere with your day. It'll actually benefit you hugely. And I say become a passerby. So in those 2 minutes, simply just become a passerby to everything that's around you. Listen to everything that's going around. And at the moment, it's great because lots of birds out there. How am I doing on time? Okay, we're running a little bit late, but I think we're doing good. Okay, lastly, in relation to the pause, really important, don't fight. So if there's talks going through your head or you're upset about something, don't worry about it. Let them in, let them out, observe them, monitor them, um, uh, make a decision and know they're there, acknowledge they are there, but don't try and fight them, okay? Just acknowledge it's a 2-minute pause. Try and do it a few times a day if you can. The benefits are massive to both your mental health and also your focus. Okay, moving on, eat the frog, the big one. Now, I can't say enough about this. There's no way I can do it justice in the next minute, but I'm going to try to. You can get the book in your library. You can order it on the library app service, which I forget, but I think you'll know it if you Google it. So you can order an electronic format at the moment because obviously libraries are closed. It's a very short book. It is one of the best ever on time management and focus. Brian Tracy is around a long, long, long time, and he's influenced loads of others since. So my narrative, my own narrative, I've tried to surmise for you is as follows. And I'll just run through this and I hope it's of benefit, but please, please do take it seriously. I would say it's the one thing for me that has driven me to do the things I do, and hopefully the success I've had and success I will have over future years. So in a quick summary of Eat the Frog, the frog is a kind of an analogy. The frog is a symbolic of something that you would not want to do. So obviously eat the frog is a horrible thing, particularly me as a vegetarian. It's a bit like, what's that? Get me out of here, the jungle, eating the insects. So the frog is something that we don't want to do. It's a horrible thing to do. So it's a storyline to motivate you to say, I must try and do the most difficult thing first. If eating the frog is the most important thing for your survival, and even a vegetarian like me, doing that is such a big step. So I carry this with me almost all the time. I have my bag, my daughter bought it for me, to remind me to really do the most high priority task first. Eat the frog, that's what it's about. So here we go. Number one, plan and list what you want to achieve. If you don't plan, you're finished. At least 1 to 2/3 planning and 1 to 2/3 doing, or split that time whatever way you want. If you're not planning, if you're not taking time out, you're in trouble. 2, prioritize. Plan and list what you want to achieve, your dream, or realistic. It has to be realistic. At this stage, I'm not going to look to play for Chelsea or Man United or for Ireland. It has to be a realistic plan. BHAG. What's a BHAG? A BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. So there you are, BHAG. So what's your BHAG? Have you several BHAGs? What's a realistic BHAG? We all know what it is. We all have it inside you. Check it. Is it realistic? Set about doing it. So number 2 is prioritize, okay? So from your list that you make, prioritize them. Really, really important. Sort it out in A, B, C's, and D's. A is top priority, B is less priority, C can wait, D, forget about it, okay? 3 is spend the most time on activities that will really make a change. Do something every day that brings you towards that goal, those goals. Now, please reread that sentence time and time again, because we know we don't do it. We get up in the morning, we check our Facebook, we go over to the Irish Times or RTE website, we drift back to our list to do, and we do a bit when we drift off. We're all guilty. We gotta check ourselves, and Eat the Frog, have one of these guys in front of me, is a great way of checking myself. So spend the most time on the activities that will really make a change. Visualize yourself where you want to be. Visualization is really, really important because you have a clear, high definition image of where you want to be in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. Draw it out, look at the picture, paint where you want to be. The key to success is action immediately. That's a huge part of Tracy's Eat the Frog. It's action, action now. The best solution to worries and anxiety is positive action. That is the way to progress on your goals, and that is the way to relieve anxiety and even tension. So Churchill, one of his quotes, action this day. Prior to D-Day, plaster all over the place. Action this day. Make sure it's the right action though. Plan every day in advance. Right. If you don't have a plan for today, you are in trouble. What are you going to do tomorrow? How are you going to take a few chunks off, number one, your big goals? You need to know, you need to have a plan. Every day, plan in advance. Forgive yourself. You cannot do everything on your list. Don't worry about it. Nobody does, okay? So don't get hung up on the items and, oh, I haven't done that, I haven't done that. That is absolutely normal. nobody, not even the best business leaders in the world, get everything done on your list, even when they delegate. So don't worry about it, move on and make sure you're focusing on the main items, the highest high value items. Question ask yourself regularly, a big part of Eat the Frog is, what is the most valuable use of your time right now? Are you making a contribution right now? Doesn't mean you can't have rest, you can't do all the things you love and all the hobbies that you enjoy, but right now, is this the best use of my time, or maybe could someone else be doing that? Number 8 is break large plans down, break them into bite-sized chunks. We'll talk about 37 signals and their success now in a few minutes. I'll have some book recommendations at the end, but really important, break your plan down. So number 1, when you're going through stage 1 and 2, up above here, make sure you break them down to smaller bite-sized chunks so you can identify, do those bite-sized chunks and make progress towards the bigger goal. What's holding you back? Make a list of what them is. Invariably, you will find what's most holding you back is you. Okay, technology. So technology is a big part of my life, has been for many, many years. Sorry, it's back there. Technology is a huge help for communication, for collaboration, for time and efficiencies. My general advice with the splurge of SaaS packages, everything from Google Suite, HubSpot, so on, Stripe, that are available. General advice I would give you is make sure to pay for it. And the reasons is that if you're serious about reaching your goals, you need the best systems and package and service level agreement. For example, Google G Suite, which is a fantastic collaborative package, the free service has a very limited support with it. Also, because it's free, Google retain the right to examine key meta tags in your Gmail, for example, and target you with ads. Whereas if you pay for the service, you can control those rights yourselves, and there's GDPR issues there as well. So any of these SaaS services, once you've tried out the free and you're happy with it, I recommend you pay for them. 50, 60 quid a year, if they bring you closer to your goals and help you action your plan, it's nothing. Okay. So some of the ones I'm just always astonished when I meet people, individuals and companies and business people that they're not using, they're not availing of is obviously Slack, Skype, Google Docs. I assumed wrongly at this stage everyone was using these. The cloud has been around now for about 10 years. Internet of Things is emerging. There are some superb services which can help you hugely. I mentioned Evernote. Evernote is fantastic. I couldn't live without it at this stage. Look at these. If you're not using them, see how they can help you. If you're not using Google Docs, if you're still using old Microsoft Excel spreadsheets and you're not using the cloud-based 365 services, please stop. It's a no-brainer. You must move on to the cloud for your security, for collaboration, for safety, for lots of reasons. It's a complete no-brainer. So please check out what's there. It astonishes me at this stage how many firms right now are being cut out during this crisis because they're not up to date on these SaaS software as a services. Okay, Trello's another one. Okay, so I'll share this presentation out later on. You can check out some of these. Shopify for e-commerce, and giving Camira a plug as well. Camira is a communication and payment service can be used by organizations. Sage Account and Dropbox and so on. So my next tip, and that's run ahead there. We let it run ahead. Okay, is number 8 is shorten the chain. Let me just do a time check there. Okay, I'm going a little bit over, but wrong 8, so I'll speed up. So forgive me for another few more minutes. Some quite important stuff to come. So shorten the chain, again, also from Eat the Frog and more. How many things are we doing because we always do them? Really important you look at that in your personal life and also in your work and working from home. The things we do, observe yourself, make a list of your time, your calendar during the day. You'll be amazed the number of things we can pass on to someone else or another organization to do. One of my business heroes, Jack Welch, passed away last month. Okay, Jack was known as Neutron Jack, and he was absolutely ruthless in his closing down of businesses, and any business that wasn't getting the first or second in terms of growth and revenue size in their chosen industry was simply just shut down. So that's why Jack became Neutron Jack. But however, very interesting man. He wasn't a business manager per se. He was actually a scientist. He started off, and he was like a business coach. And I'll give a book recommendation. But one of his most famous sayings was "delegate ruthlessly." I'll come on to some methods of doing that. So my take on that would be, particularly if you're a small business or you're at home, is look what you can outsource. Because of the power of the internet, working from home, there's so much we can outsource. And I'm not just talking about ordering a pizza or online shopping. There's loads of services out there that people in Ireland and outside Ireland will be happy to do the menial tasks which are gobbling up your time and annoying you. All you have to do is monitor your time and make a list of what they are and try to outsource them. Obviously, we're in the virtual offices game with Sky Business Centres, so we can help you out with a lot of that if you want to contact us. Only hardware hurts is a saying from 37 Signals, one of the most successful software companies around who develop Basecamp and Highrise. So outsource until it really, really hurts. And some ideas how you might outsource is look at the likes of Fiverr. You know, I use Fiverr for everything. I use it for fun. I get funny videos made for $10 and I share them around. But I also got serious stuff done, such as logos and help with copywriting. I get help from architects. I get legal, general legal advice from practitioners on Fiverr. There's so much on it. People have in their head it's just people who develop websites. It's not. Website development is only a small portion of Fiverr and also Upwork. So you should check out these services where you can get an online assistant to help you with a one-off project or on an ongoing basis. Also, obviously, Sky Business Centres talk to us, and I'll come on to that in a few minutes. So logo design, getting a flyer drawn up for your business, maybe you have a special offer on something you're selling, maybe something at home you need to do a bit of research on. Fiverr, check it out. It's absolutely brilliant. It started off and everything was Fiverr, as in $5. That's changed now. You pretty much pay for what you get, but it's still incredible value, and you have access to people literally all around the globe, including Ireland. A lot of people in Ireland are buying your services on Fiverr. Beyond that, you've also Upwork. I have a few reservations in Upwork, but Upwork has thousands of freelancers available. But I certainly check out Fiverr first. I want to give a shout out freelancers there as well to Gaza Sky Geeks. It's Gaza Sky Geeks. You maybe know is in obviously the biggest prison in Gaza City in the Middle East, and in a very, very difficult situation. And they bravely have set up with Google sponsorship a hub for startup businesses. I'm helping them out. I'm starting to help them out doing some remote mentoring, and they are available for work. And really, they deserve every bit of help they get. The electricity goes off regularly. Obviously, you're still being bombed, and it's just dreadful. Water's dirty. The people crammed into Gaza is an appalling situation. But anyway, if you're looking for outsourced developers or maybe a websites and you want to give something a chance, please check out Gaza Sky Geeks or contact me directly. It's just a shout out for Gaza Sky Geeks. Okay, so Jack Welch, control your own destiny or someone else will. Delegate ruthlessly, you take control, get it done, look at your time. Are you doing meaningless tasks just because you always did them? Make a list of them, outsource them. Control your own destiny. Okay, number 9, make yourself big. Really, really important. I did it myself, and my own story is I was operating that 2-bedroom house. I had to get an address, just like with Sky Business Centres, because I obviously couldn't use the house address to make a business look bigger. I had to get extra telephone lines at that stage to make us look bigger and more professional. And a great read, and I'll have it on the recommendation list, is James Khan from Dragon's Den. And of course, James is actually Nazim Khan, is his real name, is a Pakistani immigrant during the late 60s. And fantastic story. And you want to know about making yourself big, appear big and appear global, read the book. So James took a small serviced office in a Pall Mall version, in London version of Sky Business Centres. He calls it a closet. And he set up a business, and look at the name, he called the business Alexander Mann. So he wanted, as I say, to stink of credibility. He didn't call it James Murphy and Co. No disrespect to James Murphy and Co. He picked a name that evoked credibility, evoked global reach, and operate that business from a little small serviced office. And if you get his idea, he put New York, London, Paris on all his letterheads. It was all about creating an image. Obviously, maybe going over the top on some things, but he was in the recruitment business and turned out to be fantastically successful, employing hundreds of people and turning millions and millions of pounds sterling. So great story. He obviously, you can see him change his name to James Caan, who, as you probably know, is the actor in Misery. Hopefully no one got hobbled, but a good story of how you can look big, dream big, ooze credibility, and think global by just making a few small adjustments. Now, some of the adjustments in Sky Business Centres that we can help you with is a business postal address. So if you are looking to set up a home business or small business, we can provide you with a business postal address at one of our business locations. We can give you an Ireland, UK, and USA phone number to put on your website. And we can also set up website live chat. Again, it astonishes me at the moment how business have been caught out during this COVID-19 crisis, where they cannot trade on their website. They cannot accept orders, process payments. They don't have Stripe set up. They don't have inventory set up. They don't have Shopify set up on your websites. I would have thought majority of businesses have, but they don't. Small retailers, unfortunately, behind the mark. I've good news for you, showing the next slide. So a step up beyond that we can help you with is website live chat. So really important, chat box on websites that pop up and say, can I help you, and guide you through customer lead capture. It's just really important right now because people are at home, they're checking websites, and if your website is sitting there asleep with no one live to help, it's a huge problem. It means you're missing out on leads. So we can set you up a website live chat, and we'll monitor that for you and act on you to make sure that customer is captured for you to phone and act on. Lastly, serviced office. A serviced office to make yourself bigger without huge expense of a lease of a rental building. Talk to us. We serviced offices available. Right now, we've one person COVID-19 safe offices available. If you're looking, if you're in the front line or affiliated approved services, necessary services, we have single offices available. Okay, bit of good news just on that. If you're a business or you know someone who's in business and they're suffering right now, please look at their website. If there's no live chat on your website, if there's no e-commerce functionality in the website, scream at them. Okay, there's no excuse at this stage. So the local enterprise office throughout the country, and all the local enterprise offices throughout the whole country are providing online trading vouchers. Now, because of what's happening now, they're actually relaxing the criteria to avail of those vouchers. They're €2,500 each. So right now, when you're at home and your business is suffering, maybe your shop is closed, you go on to the Leo office, apply for one of these vouchers, get a web company to do the work for you, talk to Sky Business Centres, and Leo will give you $2,500 towards it. Okay, it was matched funding, but I think they are changing that and being light on that at the moment, given the crisis. So anyone, if it's you or someone you know who has a business and are suffering and their website does not have the ability in e-commerce function, get onto your Leo office, talk to a website developer, talk to us in Sky Business Centres. There's also a business continuity voucher available for businesses who are struggling. The criteria, again, is very light. Every single business should apply for these two vouchers, and it's another $2,500, which is available to your business to help you over the coming months, keep your business going. And again, the criteria is quite wide. Okay, so to finish off it, and I apologize, I am running a bit over. Okay, I hope it's worth it. So Patrick's recommended a reading list. Here we go. And there are many, many I've left out, so forgive me for that. But these are the Pat's books lists for today that I recommend. You can get most of these as ebooks, or you can even rent them from the library in digital format right now. So first one is a very old book, but it inspired me hugely. It's over 20 years old, and that's good old Bill Gates was back in the news. Business Speed of Thought about the digital nervous system and identifying the key metrics for your business and your life, and making sure, again, like Eat the Frog, They are front and central to you, and having them report automatically to you. Okay, so succeeding in the digital economy, business like a speed of thought, all about the digital nervous system. Great read, and I browsed through it a few days ago. Oh my God, this is so relevant to today. We know what a visionary Bill Gates is, but a lot of what's happening now, I'm not saying he predicted, but you can see where he's coming from, particularly about communications and instant alerts and so on. So next one is a lovely book, bestseller for the last 2.5 years, Hayam Sungam. You can get on to Facebook on or LinkedIn on. So he's a Buddhist monk who's had great success writing a number of books. It's a wonderful book, the things you can see only when you slow down, and try and get a copy, even as an electronic copy. Great time to read it. Okay, James Caan I've mentioned, so I'll move on. One of the best Dragons books. Sorry, Peter Jones, your books are rubbish. Apologies, Deborah Began's pretty good. Duncan Bannatyne is excellent. Ferris, TOP, can we say? Can't pronounce the second name. Good book, but the real deal, James Caan, is a great book, nice book to read, and I think it'll inspire you. I mentioned 37 Signals. 37 Signals have written a number of books. The most famous one is Getting Real. It's a very short book. If you're thinking of getting into business, or indeed if you're working from home, it's a great book. If you want to email me, I've done my own summary of Getting Real. I'd be happy to email it on to you. They've also written 2 further books, Rework and Remote Working, which you think might be relevant to them. To be honest with you, I didn't like Rework, and I didn't like the third one, like I mentioned a second ago. Getting Real is the best, and it's a lot about saving time, minimizing your meetings, getting things done. As I mentioned, only hard when it hurts. Good read. The Green Platform. Declan is just a guy I have so much respect for. Okay, he did provide services for the Cavan football team. We won't hold that against him. But Declan is just a great guy. Please look Declan up on LinkedIn or Facebook. In fact, on the Green Platform, his book is simply amazing. It's about making a choice every day of your lives, that you be aware that you have the choice of adopting a green platform or a red platform. It's your choice. You can let things get you down. You can stop your progress, but you can take command of what is in your control, as I mentioned earlier on. And Declan is just a wonderful practitioner of that, and really a book everyone should have, the Green Platform. Okay, Eat the Frog, I mentioned Brian Tracy, a really old book, a small book. In my view, is one of the best business books ever about getting things done in time management. Get an electronic copy of it. I think it's available in PDF at this stage on the web. A great book. By the way, you can email Brian. I think Brian is in his 70s now. He does reply. It takes about a month or so to reply, but you can actually drop Brian an email, even though he's one of these US superstars, but he actually does reply. So really highly recommend it. Okay, Jack Straighten the Gut. Great read, management style, delegating, making decisions, thought processes, really good. The Lean Startup, yeah, it's an essential read. Few misgivings, but there's one I have to put in there. So really that you can start and fail cheaply, and building a lean canvas model to achieve that. Okay, bit of fun. And I'll give you a great laugh. It's a technical book. It's by a former New York Times journalist, Dan Lyons. Brilliant book. You'll get in the library. It's about HubSpot. And I suppose what it's telling us is that even in the new tech startups like HubSpot, like Salesforce, even though they're very modern tech businesses, in fact, the principle of employing hundreds of people on the telephone selling their services is exactly the same as it was 50 years ago, people selling Hoovers and selling motor cars. So great book, very funny. And getting hands on it, it's a great read. Last one, and I'll be remiss of me again not to mention the late and great Fergal Quinn. It's a very old book, Crown the Customer. It's a small book. Obviously, there's a generation of students now, maybe 16, 17-year-olds, right up to 30-year-olds who probably never heard of this book. Get a copy of it. It really reinforces that you don't have 1 or 2 salespeople on your team. All your customers are your sales team. It's about the boomerang principle. It's relevant today more than ever, and I recommend you get your hands on a copy. So that's my reading list. I'm sorry if I left out others. I have to give Brogy's Making Bread book a plug as well. Brogy's Speaking Making Bread is a great book about starting up a successful business in Ireland and growing it globally. And Brogy's Camille is now flying, and wish him the best, getting hungry even thinking of it. So just quickly about Sky Business Centres to finish. We have right now during this crisis a special offer on our virtual offices. We have 2 months free for new customers. So we can help you with a lot of the stuff that I've mentioned there in relation to getting started or starting a business, or if you need help and support with your business in improving your presence with a business address, with telephone answering and web chat services, we can help you with that. Drop me an email. My email will be explained now. I will get you a voucher so you can use yourself or give to somebody. We also, as I mentioned, have 1-person safe offices available at all our centres for people who are on the government's approved list but need office space. We have that available, and obviously when this is lifted eventually, for everybody. Okay, with Camire, again, Camire is available for schools as a messaging service. We're saving schools up to €5,000 per year. Camire also has a payment collection service for collecting for school trips and so on, and it's in use throughout Ireland. And any schools you know who are struggling with school-parent communication, please talk to us. In the community, as you probably know, Camire is now used by the Gardaí, the PSNI, and community groups throughout the country, and neighbourhood watch groups for crime prevention and community engagement. So if you're involved in a community group, you're sick of WhatsApp, and you're sick of GDPR risks and so on, and you want a solid, 2-way, secure peer-to-peer messaging platform, end-to-end messaging platform, maybe payment collection, please talk to us. So there's the contact details. pat@camire.com is my email address. I want to thank my team, both in Sky Business Centres and Camire, for all of their help and commitment over this very difficult time, working from home and really going the extra mile and helping me with this presentation today. And lastly, just to thank you for listening in. I'm sorry it's gone over. I hope it's been worthwhile. I hope you get some benefit out of what I presented here. And sincerely, if you can take even some of that on board, I know it will benefit you greatly in whatever you do. So it's over now for me, and thank you for attending.